The sun had barely risen over the busy city streets when a small girl carefully placed her wooden tray of sweets on the corner of a crowded sidewalk. Cars rushed past, people hurried to work, and no one seemed to notice the quiet determination in her tired eyes. Every morning she stood in the same place, holding on to a hope that felt smaller with each passing day. But what no one knew was that this ordinary morning would soon turn into the moment that would change her entire life forever. Before we continue, if you believe that kindness and second chances can change someone's destiny, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in goodness, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel DRAMEX Story for more emotional and inspiring stories. Her name was Alira, a 22-year-old young woman with warm brown skin and soft, determined eyes that carried both sadness and strength. Life had forced her to grow up faster than most people her age. Just 3 years earlier, Alira had been a cheerful college student who dreamed of becoming a teacher. But everything changed the day her father suddenly passed away. Her mother fell ill soon after, and the small family savings disappeared within months on hospital bills and rent. With no relatives willing to help and no stable job available, Alira made the painful decision to leave college and find any way possible to support her mother. That was when she remembered the sweets her grandmother used to make, soft honey pastries dusted with sugar, simple but delicious. Using the last of their savings, Alira bought basic ingredients and began making the sweets at night in their tiny kitchen. Every morning before sunrise, she would pack dozens of the homemade treats onto a wooden tray and walk nearly 2 kilometers to a busy intersection in the city. She stood there for hours under the bright daytime sun, politely offering sweets to strangers rushing by. Some people smiled and bought one. Many ignored her completely. A few even mocked her quietly, wondering why a young woman like her was standing on the street instead of working in an office. But Alira never responded to their whispers. She had a goal far bigger than pride. Every sweet she sold meant medicine for her mother. Every small coin meant another day they could keep their small apartment. Days turned into months. Sometimes she sold out by afternoon. Other days she went home with half the tray still full. Yet no matter how difficult things became, Alira never stopped showing kindness to the people around her. If a hungry child walked by, she would quietly give them a sweet for free. If an elderly person struggled to cross the street, she would leave her tray for a moment and help them. One bright afternoon, the city felt hotter than usual. The sunlight reflected sharply off the tall glass buildings nearby, and the sidewalks buzzed with impatient workers rushing to lunch meetings. Alira stood at her usual corner, wiping sweat from her forehead as she carefully arranged the sweets on her tray. Across the street, a long black car slowly stopped near the traffic light. Inside sat Armand Velez, a billionaire businessman known for building one of the largest food companies in the country. His days were normally filled with contracts, meetings, and endless numbers. But as his car paused at the light, something unusual caught his attention. He noticed the young woman standing quietly on the corner with her tray of sweets. At first it seemed like an ordinary sight, but then he watched more closely. A small boy approached her hesitantly, looking at the sweets with hungry eyes but clearly having no money. Without thinking twice, Alira gently handed him a sweet and smiled warmly as the boy ran off happily. The traffic light turned green, but Armand raised his hand, signaling his driver to stop. For some reason he couldn't explain, he kept watching her. In his world of luxury offices and expensive suits, genuine kindness had become a rare thing to see. Yet here was a young woman who had almost nothing, still willing to give away the little she had. After a moment, Armand stepped out of the car and walked toward her. Alira noticed the sharply dressed man approaching but assumed he was simply another curious passerby. She greeted him politely, offering him one of her sweets. Armand picked one up and took a bite. To his surprise, it was delicious, soft, warm, and full of flavor. It tasted authentic, homemade, and unlike anything he had tasted from expensive bakeries. He looked at her tray again, then at her tired but hopeful eyes. At that moment, Armand made a decision that even surprised himself. Instead of simply buying a sweet and walking away, he quietly asked her a few questions about how she made them. Alira explained shyly that she made them every night in her small kitchen, following her grandmother's recipe. Armand listened carefully. Then he did something completely unexpected. He offered her a chance, not just money but an opportunity. He told her that her sweets had the potential to be sold in thousands of stores across the country. His company specialized in distributing food products, and he wanted to help her turn her small homemade recipe into a real business. For a moment, Alira thought she had misunderstood him. A billionaire offering to help a girl selling sweets on the street. It sounded impossible. But Armen wasn't joking. Within weeks, he arranged a small professional kitchen where Alira could safely produce her sweets. His company helped with packaging, marketing, and distribution. Yet he insisted on one important condition: Alira would remain the owner of her recipe and receive full credit for her product. Months later, something incredible happened. The once tiny tray of sweets became a national brand. Stores across the country began selling Alira's honey treats, and people loved the authentic taste. But the greatest change wasn't the success. It was the moment Alira was finally able to bring her mother to a comfortable home and ensure she received proper medical care. And despite everything she achieved, Alira never forgot where she came from. Every weekend, she still visited the same street corner where her journey began, this time giving free sweets to struggling vendors and children who reminded her of the life she once lived. Before this story ends, we have a special request for you. Please comment the word kindness below if you believe one small act of kindness can truly change someone's life. Stories like Alira's remind us that sometimes the world changes not because of power or wealth, but because someone chooses to care when nobody else does. And if this story touched your heart even a little, please like this video, share it with someone who believes in hope, and subscribe to DRAMEX Story so we can continue bringing you stories that inspire, move, and remind us that humanity still exists in this world.